We will just start na lang siguro, no? I will just let others to come in while I am going to discuss with you our new topic. Okay, so this would be the last chapter that I am going to discuss with you. So we will try to discuss the first half dayon. The second half of this, dito na lang dayon sa kuan. Dito na to tiwason sa January. Okay. So by the end of this chapter, so this is our this would be our learning targets. No? So number one, we should be able to identify the different types of interests. No? So dili ka ng interest na kanang siya naka-interest sa imo, no? But the interest related to money. Anyway, we are going to discuss also the home ownership in relation to loans, as well as investments and loans in relation to interest rates, describe the concept of optimization. Then we are going to apply the concepts of interest and optimization in real life applications and financial management. Okay. So the first thing that we are going to discuss all about is the interest. So kung may mong interest, no, we can always incorporate it with kanang utang. So kung mangutang ka sa turko, naa siya interest, no, even kanang itawag nila nga 5-6 kan, no. Kana lang 5-6, no, medyo dako lang na yung interest because that is 20%, no, 20%. Anyway, and I guess when you are going to lend a money, when you are going to lend, I guess it's fair enough that you are going to ask for additional payment as interest, because that is supposedly you are going to use it, but you allow someone to borrow it, and I guess it's a fair practice. And according to Byler, interest is somehow called a rent. So abang do na ng interest that the borrower pays a lender to use the lender's money. So very very common very common tayo ni when you are going to ask for a loan sa bangko. When you are going to ask for the loan, so they will ask you for interest, so you are going to pay it with interest. Kung mag-lend, kung print up ka sa imong ATM, so naabot na siya corresponding interest. And when you are going to deposit, you will also earn some interest also. Invest ka. And I guess every transaction karon, so every transaction is like involved of interest. And here are the different types of interest. And number one, that is fixed. Okay, so fixed is one time lang i-compute. Then when you are going to pay na the utang, so additional interest will be added to the payment. Okay. Variable, so this thing is the one that varies from time to time, no? The one that varies from time to time. So example of this is kaning dividends. Okay, we can consider interest as dividends, no? We can consider dividends as interest also, but the dividends vary depending on the net income of a given corporation or a cooperative, no? Given corporation or cooperative. Then we also have the annual percentage rates. So this is the amount of interest expressed annually on the total cost of the loan. So usually, this is computed usually for credit cards that have been overdue, no? Overdue na kaning mga credit cards. Then we also have gitawag na to nga prime rates. no, prime rates. So let us say when you are going to apply for when you are going to apply for a savings account, no. So based sa evaluation sa kaning bangko, so they will offer you some what they call prime rates, no. So kaning prime rates actually the same computation, but they offer you a higher percentage compared to a regular customer, no. So yun, if they qualify you, if you were qualified to be belong in this category based on their based on their evaluation, so they will offer you some prime rates, no. Usually sa mga bangko, if kung tagaan kag prime rate, medyo taas ang imong interest kung nga ma-earn sa imong savings compared sa katong regular customer. And naiga-offer murag pinakataas mo siguro ata na ako makita isang pinakataas is 5%. 5% murag sa Metro Bank ata. I don't know if there is one pa higher than 5%. But nagbayad man ang interest mo sa savings account. Kuan ang taba when you are going to apply for loan, dako kay interest 10, 20%, but when you are going to deposit your money, so medyo gamay ang interest kay mo ma-earn. Anyway, that's business, no. Dapat kung pag mo income po ang agency ay bibinlan sa imong kwarta. Okay, then we also have simple. So this is very common, no, sa mga lendings. Simple interest is same as fixed, only that it is computed according to the term or length of time the loan, according to the length of time. So let's say you apply for a loan, apply for a loan. So they will usually if ang mode sa loan is in terms of simple interest, so ang imong interest is fixed, no. Ang imong interest is fixed yearly. So that is why ang iyang growth is linear. By the way, pag may kag simple interest, the basis for computing computing your interest is based from your principal, your original principal. Meaning this is the amount of money that you have borrowed. This is the amount of money that you have borrowed, no? Katong original amount of money that you have borrowed. So ang interest will be based sa imong principal. No, always a principal. And that is why from yearly, fix ang imong, kung yearly or monthly, fix ang imong additional payment for interest, no? Okay, another type of interest is compound. Okay, what happens in the compound is that let us say in the first one, you have your principal, the original money that you have borrowed, or the original money that you have invested, either you borrowed or invested, no? Then on the next year, it will gain some interest, no? On the following year, it will gain an interest based on their principal plus the additional interest on the previous year, no? Plus the additional interest in the previous year. So in this case, ang interest will grow some interest. No? In this case, ang interest nimo will grow some interest. So that is why when we say they call compound interest as an interest of interest. No? Kay on the following year, ang interest will grow based on the principal plus the interest of the previous year. So mana siya about compound. Okay. There is also another scheme, no? There is also another scheme of computing interest, gitawag nila ni nga discount method. Okay, discount is also an interest. Ang may tabo lang sa simple discount, there is what we call simple interest and there is what we call simple discount. And sa simple discount is kompyuto ng imong kompyuto ng imong interest, no? Then what will happen is kung mangutang, let's say 10,000, mangutang kag 10,000. So pag utang nimo na dili fully 10,000 ang imong madawatan, kay kuan siya niya og interest daan. So what you are going to receive is, let's say 10% ang interest, no? Ang interest rate niya, discount method. So kung nangutang kag 10,000, ang imong madawatan na is 9,000 na lang. So that is discounting. So I guess you have to be you have to be familiar nipon. I know some of you dili kayo mo-relate because you are still students, and I can also relate that one because during my student years, murag eskwela ra gid akong problema, no? But when you grow up, when you are having your work or you're having a family, no? So na yung mga emergency cases na aging kay di gid na malikayan nga magkautang-utang gid ka, no? So no, before you are going to borrow money, when you are going to borrow money to a certain agency, so i-check sa ang scheme, no? I-check sa ang scheme whether it's ba siya simple interest or whether it's simple discount or is it compound interest, no? Compound interest. Okay. Be very careful lang po also, no, with dealing with utang, no, dealing with money, especially about loans, especially when you are going to file a loan in the bank or sa SSS or GSIS baka or in Pag-ibig. So just be very careful lang ana because ang scheme nila ana is compounded. Ang growth sa imong utang is compounded. So what will happen is that kung dili nimo bayaran, no? Dili nimo bayaran ang ang money, no? In sa sakto nga oras sa iyang due date before due date, what will happen to that is that mag-grow ang imong money. Mag-grow ang imong utang. So mag-grow imong utang, it will earn some interest and compounded man siya, yung interest mag-earn na po ng interest. So that is why kanang uban nalubog sa utang, imbis gamay ra ang loan, gidako na noon, no? So kasagara examples ani kaning mga maestra, no? Tingala lang sila pag imbes imbes mag-retire na sila, magdawat na sila lump sum, dako makaya sila utang kay wala bayad-bayad lagi. Nalugmok sa utang, so wala sila yung nawatang ng lump sum, no? Ipulit dito sa utang. So be very careful with that one, no? I have a friend naitabo nga utang siya sa SSS. 10,000 na good to iyang 10,000 na gud iyang utang. Labi kay man kanang naka-stop sa work for 10 years wala niya na bayaran, eskwela man siya balik. Man niya na bayaran ng iyang utang. So what happened, ang 10,000 after 10 years nahimo na siya 23,000 tungod sa interest, no? Tungod sa interest. So yun, so just be very careful lang, no, when you are going to file for loans. Okay, mugrogin na inyong money. Mugrogin na inyong utang. Okay lang kung investment, mas okay kung investment, di ba? Okay, compounded interest siya, i-invest ka, so earn gig ka. Pero kung loan siya, so malubong gig ka sa utang. So yun, so be very careful lang ana, especially kan sa GSIS. When you are going to have a loan, but also you have to be very updated with your with your uh, you have to be very updated with your inyong account, especially if na may loans, no, especially sa inyong loans kay especially kaning GSIS ra ba, at least kabalong you will be oriented na daan ba when you're going to work for government. Ang GSIS ra ba kay dili na siya ga-update sa payroll, dili na automatic mo deduct. So you have to arrange it pa sa imong agency nga imong trabahoan sa GSIS. And dagan na hitabuan na mo nang dahilan, mo nang one of the reasons nganong dagan government employees na lubong sa utang. Walay kadawatan nga lamsam at the end of the period, walay kuan because inana nga scheme. Dili i-update ba, dili i-update. Anyway, so I don't know. At least you will be prepared ahead in that one. Okay. So, okay, I have here some notes related to simple interest and compound interest and how to compute them. And I know you have studied this one during your high school years, especially in Gen Math. So I will just leave this to you to review, no? Especially the computation side. So I'll just leave this one to you to review. So just review on this. For the exercises, I will just leave the exercises here as your practice. No? I'll just leave this one as your practice. Okay, we also have the compound interest. So here are some formulas on how to compute the interest, the amount and the interest, no, for compound interest. Okay, for the exercises, I will just leave this one to you. No? Okay, next one is the annuities. So, medyo kung no, so ato lang ni i-kuan tanan, i-run through tanan. Anyway, kuan kaning run through lang nato ni. So I will just kuan lang siguro. Anyway, nagian naman ninyo ni. Pero kung tagsa-og yun nato ni og lesson, actually one semester ba ani kung study ka o mathematics of investment. One semester gini siya nga subject, no? Sa inyo kay one chapter lang. Dili gid one chapter, half of a chapter lang yun. Anyway, next one is what they call annuity. Okay, what is this annuity? Okay, when we say annuity, it's a sequence of payments made at equal intervals of time. So, kanang regular payments ninyo nga monthly or annually. So, we could consider that one as annuity, no? Let's say kanang yung abang sa balay, ano? Let's say kaning nangutang mog motor sa Desmart, okay? Nangutang mog motor sa Desmart, dayon na amoy monthly nga ginabayaran. Okay, that is ang kanang monthly payment is regular, no? Fixed. We call that also as an annuity, no? That is also an example of annuity. Or kung mangutang mo or kung kanang mga policy nga inyong ginabayaran, let's say you subscribe to SSS or GSIS or Pag-ibig, no? Na may regular payments monthly, no? Na may regular payments monthly kay sa inyong okay, or PhilHealth baka, so na may kwan nga na may na may monthly payments. Okay, that periodic payments is what we call annuity, no? We could consider that one as annuity. Or let us say kuan nagkuan mong insurance, okay, invest mong insurance. So usually insurance is uban insurance is quarterly, no? Uban insurance is annual, or na po insurance na monthly ang payment, no? So if kanang nga regular payments, kanang nga type of regular payments, we could consider that one as annuities, no? So those are annuities. Okay, since we talk about kaning kung ano, since we talk about life insurance, no, life insurance, and it is a good investment, no, kung mag subscribe ka og insurance at that earlier age, no? Kung medyo bata-bata pa ka, palit ka og insurance, mas maayo. I am talking about life insurance, no? I am talking about life insurance. Dili necessary dagan ng klase ng insurance, no? Na car insurance, na insurance sa eskwelahan, no? Na insurance sa property. Okay, I am talking about life insurance, no? If you want to invest about on insurance, mas maayo, mas matabata, mas bata ka mo in your early 20s mag-invest in insurance compared to when you are going to invest it at your 30s or 40s. Kaya ang reason na is if medyo bata-bata pa mo, barato ang kanang taas na premium, mapalit ra ninyo ng barato, no? Ang inyong monthly payments is barato ra. Pero kung tigulang na mo, medyo taas ng inyong edad, so same premium, pero you are going to buy it at what? When you are going to buy it, mga around, paano siguro, medyo mahal-mahal. Let's say, at your 20s, kanang 1.5, no? Kung magsugod mo sa inyong 30s, na subscribe mo o insurance, magsugod mo sa inyong 30s, kanang 1.5, maabot na siya 3,000 or 3,500. No? So medyo alkansi, di ba? Anyway, so that's the con about insurance, no? As to the company, okay, depende, basta kay at least na mo isa ka life insurance, that would be better, at least na andam ba, at least kung mamatay ka po, I'm just kidding, at least natay mabinlan, no? Sa atong mga years na to, natay mabinlan. Anyway, so here are some classification of annuities. So natin annuity certain, meaning the payment begin and end at fixed times. So example na is kana inyong, say example na, it's car loan, no? Payment for car loans. So naamgid may kalos ang magsugod o kalos ang maimpas, di ba? So no? And based on the payment by month or by quarter ang pag-pay. Contingent annuity is the payments are not certain to be made, no? So the payments depends on an event that cannot be foretold or accurately. So dili though fix ang pag-start, but when you are going to end it, depende, it doesn't matter. Like say for example for life insurance, pwede nimo na bayaran for lifetime, no? Kasi magsugod ka karon, pwede nimo na bayaran for lifetime until you retire, until ka mag-retire, no? Pwede na. So that mo man ang sa unang life insurance, pero karon kay lahi naman karon, no? Ang life insurance karon kay parang annuity certain na rin. So after 10 years, so na-plan karon nga na mga life plan karon, no? After 10 years, pwede na nimo i-lump sum ang imong kuan, ang imong initial nga i-invest. Pero kung i-lump sum nimo, mawala na pud imong benefits kay imo na gibawi, di ba? So that's the say tawag na. That's the disadvantage kay imo na magibawi, no? So yun. So that's about annuities. Okay, this one, I know that you have this lesson in your senior high school. It's in your general mathematics subject. So I'll just leave this one for you. By the way, S is the future value of the annuity, no? and A is the refers to the present value. Actually kani ipang derive ni gikan na gyapon sa compound interest na formula. So kani nga derive gikan na gyapon sa compound na interest na formula. And I have here some examples. I will leave this one to you to answer. So that's on the mathematics side of our lesson. And now let's proceed to the some applications. Since we talk about interest, annuities, usually kay utang giniyan ko na to ani no. Ana magid na no, sa una bata pa ta atong problemahon is gatas, dayon pagkuan, kinsa atong kadula while growing up, atong studies, no? Dayon atong uyab, sa katong walay uyab, pasensya na lang. Dayon pagkuan, when you, after you graduate, no? So, diri na dayon. So, parang real life na dayon. So, ang imong problemahon is imong mga bahiron nun. Kung apil na gid ang mga utang niya, di na gid makalikayan. So, yon. So, anyway, so you are going to experience ani pohon. No? At least you are sorry, you are being educated with this this kind of stuff. Okay, since we talk about utang, okay, so dili gid na balik kayo na so and we are now on the digital age karon. So usually sa una it's we try to buy using payat nga money, but now we are using credit card ang kaning mga cashless na mga scheme sa pag-pay. And one of that is kaning gitawag kaning mga credit cards. Okay. So it's good to have this one because ang atong mga transaction is online na, di ba? It's good to have this one because our transaction is online. Even when you are going to shop online, no? Mga PayPal when you are going to work online, no? So you are going to subscribe for PayPal. Ang PayPal ga pangayo og credit cards or debit cards. And also, this is very useful. Murag convenient na ka, di na ka magdalaw pa. Especially karong nga pandemic. No? Especially karong nga pandemic. Ang money, pinapasa-pasa permente. No? And one of the reason kato bitaw nag-spread diri sa mga bangko bitaw diri nag-spread ang COVID last year sa mga bangko because of kaning transfer sa money. And one way of protecting yourself from these cases or having aning mga cards kay ikaw ra gigahawid og ang teller, no? So ikaw ra gihawid sa card og ang teller. So dili mo kayo mapasa-pasa ang gani virus, so naragid sa inyong duha, no? Ang inyong kasahinlan. Anyway, so convenience. So naadya gyapon ang convenience. Di na ka magdala og mga kwarta or sinsilyo. No. But be very careful lang kaya sa paggamit ng aning mga credit cards, no. Especially okay lang debit cards because that is based from your savings. Kaning credit card because man gud ni. Based on utang man gud ni. No, so when you are going to purchase something, then nagamit ka og credit cards, ang bangko ang kuan sa imo, gabayad sa imong goods on your behalf. So that is in credit card. So ang bank nimo ang magbayad sa imong gipampalit ng goods on your behalf, no? Dayon ikaw na lang dayon ang mobayad sa bangko. Of course kay it's a form of utang. So you are going to pay it with interest po. No? You are going to pay it with interest. So just be very careful of using credit cards. No? Because if we kung sa history daghan po nga purdoy, no, because of aning uh, unwiseful na paggamit sa mga credit cards. Okay. Ayun. By the way, dili mo po ka mabalaga kinaaman tay credit limit also. No? So based on your status, based sa imong profile, kung i-profile mo na, then i-evaluate, then the bank will decide what is your credit limit. No, the bank will decide if you're kung good payer ka, if you are a good payer, dayon if you are also dayon ang imong profile is good, dayon no, financially good ang imong profile, then your credit limit will also increase. No? Credit limit will also increase. So that's the good thing with having credit cards. No? Okay, what is the difference between a credit card and a debit card? Okay. Credit card is, so yun, credit card is kung mag-buy ka mag-purchase ka og goods, si bangko ang mag-pay sa imong behalf, then ikaw na lang dayon magbayad sa bangko. Ang debit card is like this. Ang imong yung kaugalingong savings, ang imong ginabayad sa imong goods. That is the difference. Ano? And karon ang mga ATM karon kay is incorporated na as debit card. So that's a good thing. So ang mga ATM cards niyo when you are going to purchase something sa department store, pwede na ninyo na siya magamit as pambayad, no? Pwede niyo magamit as pambayad. So of course kay na may bank services ana, so nagin na siya kaltas na service fee, no? Lagi na siya kaltas sa service fee. Okay, so I have here some differences on about your transactions in between credit cards and debit cards. So I will just leave this to you to read them. And I guess palang siguro since digital age man ta, no, and we are using cards na, and karon gani we are using kaning online wallet na gani, no, we are also using online wallet. So just be very careful with kaning mga problems and issues na itong ma-encounter related to this matter, especially kung kwartang involved, no. So dagan kabuang mahitabo basta money ang mag-involve, no. Just like what's this, like what happened to the BDO last time, nangahack ang nilang mga accounts, di ba? Nangahack ang nilang accounts, then dagan affected, dagan nga lose ang nilang mga kuan. I don't know with the suggestion of the Central Bank of the Philippines na kuan daw nila, they are going to refund daw those who were affected by the hacking incident. So here are some problems related to the use of cards. Not only in cards also, but also in online wallets, ATMs, anything related to finances. Let's say loss of cards, kaning account takeover. Kaning delikado class, no, kaning account takeover dagan kayo ni incident ni nani, no? Like sa kung kauban sa una, PNB man to. I don't know with the security sa PNB karon, no, pero sa una permintigin na problema ng PNB. Nara siya diri sa Cagayan de Oro. Pero nay tingala siya nga dako kinawala sa iyang money, around 20,000 ata, 20 or 25,000. Dako kay nawala sa iyang kwarta sa iyang bangko niya. ATM man to siya, passbook and ATM. So ilang gi-review dayon nay nag-withdraw Mandaluyong Manila niya, nara sa Cagayan around that month, wala siya travel. So yun, I don't know what happened to that, na-refund ba siya or wala, basta naagi nagkuha sa iyang kwarta sa Mandaluyong area. Basta inana ra mga cases kay most cases na inana kay dili gid ma-refund. No? Dili ma-refund. So, yun. So, mga skimming. So, yun. Kani counterfeit cards mga kuan no kanang cloning na nagyapay card cloning also na karon. Actually daghan kayo no basta kwarta lagi kuan mga kuan kayo mga tao ani very creative kayo. Okay, so when you are going to have these kinds of problems, no, when you are going to have these kinds of problems, the first thing you are going to do is to report this to your bank and deactivate gina always, no? So mo gina first thing if you kung naa kay makita nga no kung naagi kay something wrong no naay something wrong murag odd na itabo sa imong account, especially na gid kani mawala imong cards no especially kana i-report it to the bank and also deactivate. Then also scrutiny kung related to 2, 3, 4, and 5, no? Let's say na something wrong with your account. You have to scrutinize the bank what happened to your account. Anong nawala imong 20,000? Or anong nawala imong 100,000, di ba? Kalit lang kawala. So, yun. So, okay. So I have some activities here. I will send this one through our chat box. Maybe you can respond to this anytime. You can respond to this anytime. I'll also send this one in our server. Okay, for this activity class though, you can respond to this anytime. Okay, you can respond to this anytime. Within the day, you can respond. So I will just proceed with siguro no. I will just proceed with the next subtopic, all about the about housing. So yun. So here are the common housing types. Okay. Kanang picture diyan no, that is based on the survey of PSA. That is based on the survey of the PSA. At least kabalo mo ana usually kay subdivision ng mga garon no, kung palit kag balay subdivision ng mag-i-offer sa inyo. Ni trigi gay na ng ano kanang mag-offer gid nga ilang own lot no, own house and lot mga panalagsan lang kayo na. Kung makita man gani kag barato nga inana jackpot na kayo gayo ka. Anyway, so at least kung kabalo mo no na ay mga balay nga gitawag nato nga single detached na ay mga duplex. A duplex is duha na kabuk na tapad na ay row house no patay mura naman taga mamaligya og panani no kaning isa ni balay sa Camellia. Row house class is kuan na siya. Kung pili mo balay sa row house mas maayo if kuan kanag yung naamo sa kanto medyo dako gid na siya nga area no. Ayaw mo pili og tunga kay gamay ra kay nang tunga. no, gamay. Medyo barato-barato mga bungalow type o mga row house na type na balay. Pero kung mapalit mo sa subdivision, no, mga barato na sila. Pero kung mag single detached nga nanay kwarto, nanay kusina, nanay kuan, medyo mahal na sa karon. Sa una barato ra pero karon medyo mahal na sa karon, no, medyo mahal. Yung mga barato karon is kanang mga row house o mga bungalow type. Bungalow type class is mura ka gasulod og kuan, mura ka gasulod og classroom. Pag sulod nimo mo na sa tanan. Isa na ang kwarto, isa na kusina, isa na tanan, no? Depende na sa imo sa unya mag-division. Kaya na ang bungalow type nga kuan mga balay, no? Ayun. So at least kuan ba kung maligyahanan magani mo sa inyong classmate ko ng kuan ng og balay, at least kabalo mo. And okay, so karon kay when you are going to buy a house, karon no, medyo mahal gyud kaayo. So I say kung house and lot ka, iagi pag mo og subdivision, gamay rin kayo ng 700,000, 800,000 nga balay class. No? Gamay ra kayo na. Niya kuan pag yun. Ang lot area na grabe ka gamay, no? Naras 20, 30, no? 30 kuan, 30 square meters. 25 square meters, no? So medyo gamay rin kayo na siya. Pero kung tanawon nimo sa kuan, kung tanawon nimo ang population na to karon, naon pa nimo ang limited. Actually, mas maayo kung sayo kang invest inana, mas maayo kay for the next 10 years medyo mahal lagi na sila tanan. Medyo mahal lagi na sila. Yun. So medyo mahal man sa mo nang uban kay ginaagi og loans, no? So ginaagi na siya og loans. May iagi nimo pag-ibig or iagi nimo bangko. Okay, so there are two types of loans. Gitawag nato nga conventional. Conventional meaning fix ang imong monthly payment and fix ang imong time. They say you are going to pay for it for 30 years and for 30 years mo na imong monthly payments. No, monthly payments. Flexible depending on the usually bangko man eh. But kung iagi nimo bangko, it's na sa BDO, I guess naapod na sa BDO, no? Ang BDO is offering housing loans also. So conventional type, yon tagaan fixed time, then you're going to pay for it for fixed date, no? And fixed period. Flexible is pwede mag-vary depending on unsay sulod sa imong bank account. No, depende. So siguro this year you're going to pay for this kind of amount. For the next year kani, depending on the amount of money that you have sa imong bank account. No? So yon. So that is the difference between conventional and flexible. One thing lang class, no, if you are capable of buying a house at one time, kanang one time nga payment, if you are able to buy a house at one time payment, much better than compared to iagi nimo utang. Iagi nimo utang, iagi nimo housing loan. Kay kuan, kung imo siyang ibulto, mas makabarato manggug ka. Ibulto nimo pay, mas makabarato ka. Pero kung itigi-tigi nimo, no, itigi-tigi nimo, no, you try to pay it monthly. Okay. So kay loan ba siya and compounded. Usually basta loan class, no. So careful gid mo ang loan, no. Kay compounded ang pag-compute sa interest. So compounded man ang pag-compute sa interest, so it will earn some interest, and at some time, so kung imo nang i-accumulate ang imong gibayaran tanan, medyo dako gi kay imong babayaran ana, no? medyo dako kayo may mga bayaran. So that is why I don't know if you are living in subdivisions, no. So kana inyong gibayaran nga balay, let us say let us say worth 500,000 or 600,000 na house and lot. If you are going to pay for that one monthly, let us say for 30 years, usually kay 30 man na 30 or 20 years, no? So sobra pa na og 600,000 or 500,000 yung gibayad. Usually moabot pa ng million or moabot ano paano let us say for example kaning 600,000 na house and lot, actually mo almost 2 million ang imong bayaran na anak kung imong monthly payments. May mo ni i-accumulate almost 2 million na siya. No? That is one because of interest. No? That is because of interest. So that is why kung capable mo og bayad og capable mo og bayad at one time, so much better, mas maayo compared to kanang housing loan na tagsa-tagsa monthly yung pay. Okay. So that's about housing loans, no? So I will end in these two topics, meaning the types of let's go to the investment side. There are okay. So when you are going to invest something in a company or a corporation, no? Company or corporation, corporation. When you are going to invest something, they will offer you a certificate. Sakit kay na ba kanang kwarta bayloan lag papel. But anyway, that is dili na siya basta-basta nga papel, no. They will offer you a certificate, and that certificate, that written agreement or written the written account, okay, we call that as security. No, we call that as security. Okay. There are two types of security. Itawag nato nga bonds and napaisa gitawag nato og stocks. So there are two types of security na ay bonds na ay stocks. When a bank or an agency offer you bonds, dahil magpalit na ka og bonds, what is happening there is that kung magpalit ka og bonds is that you are just like lending your money to the company. You are just lending your money to the company. So, as a return of investment, so bayaran kanila and they will give you a certain amount of money based on what you have invested. Okay? So, by the way, fix siya, fix. Ang imong return of investment ani is fixed, no? So again, so what is being paid to you is the interest, no? What is being paid to you is the interest, no? In return, in return. Pero dili ka owner. So that is the downside of, okay, less ang risk kung magpuan ka sa bond, less ang risk, but the con is that dili ka owner, no? You are not part of the owner kung magpalit ka og bond, no? So bond or coupon bond. The other type of security is what they call stock. Okay, stocks. So what happens to stocks is that when the company issues you a stock, okay, nagpalit ka, then i-issue ka og certificate ana, then you'll become a shareholder. So what do you mean by a shareholder or a stockholder? So that means you are now partly now the owner of the company. So naa kay percentage of ownership sa company, no? Kung magpalit ka og shares, no? So kung magpalit ka og shares na kay part of ownership sa one. Yes, yun. Na kay ownership sa company or sa corporation. So that is the difference between the stocks and bonds. Okay, medyo risky lang ning stocks, mas no? Medyo risky lang ning stocks because if kung mukuan ka, your income is fixed, dili fixed. Your income is dili fixed. So kung ang market value sa imong stocks mo taas, okay, good ka. Pero na may times ka mo kuan siya mo down ang market. So that will be, so you'll be affected also. No? Dayon, there are two ways, no, that you will earn from the stocks. There are two ways that you will earn from the stocks. Number one is through the dividend. Number two is kung imo ni ibaligya, no? Kung imo ni ibaligya, i-buy and sell ni mong stocks. Pwede man na nimo i-buy and sell stocks, just like a cryptocurrency. Kaning dividend, so kaning dividend base ni sa inyong net income sa company. So net income, dili gross, no, but net income. So kung mag-loss ang company, so loss pug ka. Wala kay madawatan, no? So maalkansi pug ka. Pero kung mag-gain ang company, so you will also gain. No, and yon. So it's risky. It's quite risky, but kuan siya, no? Kung mo income siya, medyo dako, pwede mo madawatan, no? Dako ang return of investment. Yon. That's the difference between the stocks and bonds. Here are some ways on how to compute the price of a bond. Okay. By the way, class, no? Usually pag mayroon ta og par, depending on the par value, no? Depending on the par value. Pag mayroon ta og par, usually it's times 1, no? Pero na uban par value nga mo maabot og 2, maabot og 1.5, but usually basta mayroon ta og par, that is times 1, not times 1. So asa man na nato na siya magamit na computation. So we multiply that one to our redemption payment. We multiply that one to our redemption payment. So let's say for example for letter A, so sa atong redemption payment is 50,000 lang siya, no? So because 50,000 times 1, 50,000 times 1, because that is the par at par. Dire na yon ay at 105%. So katong 50,000 gi-multiply nato og 105%, which gives us 52,500. So more than ni imong redemption value. So okay, if you're going to compute all of those, and you will have now the price of the mo na ang price na imong i-invest, no? Pero ang imong earnings is fixed based on the interest, the monthly interest. Okay, for the stocks, okay, this is how you compute your equity. By the way, the equity is the percentage of your share to the company, or the percentage of, or the ratio of your share to the total number of shares. So this is how ownership is being determined. This is how ownership is being determined. Okay, 10% one siya, major stockholder siya, or minor lang. Major stockholder ka, it's 1. At least you own 10% of the company's quant. So kanang 10% of shares is actually dako gyud kayo. corporation ba kay medyo dako ba yan, no? Dagan ambag-ambag, no? So make sure lang yun nga imong shares is, kung if you're going to create a company, make sure lang yun nga imong shares is dako sa uban, no? Or else pag sa decision making, mas nakapay mas dako sa imo, pwede ka mapulihan, pwede mahilog sa imong kumpanya, no? So yun, that's the gamble of having a corporation. Okay, there are also types of stocks na gitawag natong common stocks and preferred stocks. Okay. Sa company, okay, so there are two types of stocks that is being issued, no? Two types of stocks that is being issued. Ang sa pagbahin ana, kung nanay magbahin na og dividend, ang pinakauna gid bahinan is katong nakapanag-iya og mga preferred stocks, no? Katong nakapanag-iya og preferred stocks. Sila una, but fix ang ilang kuan, but fix ang ilang madawatan, no? Ang dividend, the computation of the dividends sa preferred stocks is with the par value multiplied sa kanang percentage sa ilang share dayon sa katong market value sa ilang or katong total nilang times katong ilang this kani ilang net income times ito ilang net income, no? So inana ang pag-compute. So after na dayon ma-distribute na, humana ang nakadawat ang nakapanagyaw mga preferred stocks, ayan din na bahinon sa common stocks. Okay. Kung medyo dako kag stocks, okay, medyo dako gig kag dividend, no? Pero kung kuan lang, pero it's risk lang ni because kuan lang. The risk of this is kung mag-loss ang company. So kung mag-loss ka, so ang imong dividend loss pod, so negative ka. Pero kung mas dako po ang imong, let's say dako ang income ana, mas dako ang madawatan sa kuan kanina nakapanag-iya og mga common stocks, no? Let's say kung dako ang net income ana ng year, no? Net income. Yun. So ana ang pagbahin ana, no? Pinakauna is mahina ang katong nakapanag-iya og preferred stocks, dayon ibahin sa katong nakapanag-iya og common stocks. I will just share this one to you. I will just leave this one to you to answer as a practice exercise. Okay. By the way, if you want to know the information of the price of the stocks of some companies, pwede na mo na sila i-visit aning website. No? By the way, this is 3 months ago. Ako maning lesson sa ako gigamit sa akong lesson sa atong math of investment akong subject. But okay. I don't know, murag say tawagan na. Medyo nang nagko na ni karon, no? Nagko na ni mga nagko na ni mga price ni karon. By the way, class, no, when you are going to fund sa stocks, no, kung gusto mo invest on stocks, try to invest on the telecommunications company. No? Kanang offer of mga internet pa. No? Let's say for example, kanang Converge, medyo barato pa yung pricing sa shares, 43 pa. Ang dito is pila kay kuan sa per share karon sa dito. It's more 5 pesos man siguro. No, 5 pesos ang dito. But when this telecommunication company mo boom, you will really benefit from it. But anyway, so sa karon kay medyo ayaw pa man din silang masugod. Medyo hinay pa ilang market, no? Anyway, kung mag-invest ka, for every investment na magiday risk. No? Pero kung mag-risk ka o sa stock market, ang imo dang losing no, according to some experts, pinaka-dako nimo nga malo sa stock market is 30% naman. 30%. Anyway, pero may chance nga mas dako pa na, no? Pero may chance nga mo income ka, mas dako yung income. No, it's a good investment, no? If kung gusto ka mapadali mo dako imong kwarta, dadto ka invest og cryptocurrency, but volatile mo gud ang cryptocurrency unya walay security. Kung makawat ang imong crypto, tabla ka. While in the stock market na ay security na kay written agreement, no? Nagi kay written agreement. So why not dire ka na lang mag-invest, no? So, yun. But by the way, dili ka basta-basta maka-invest, Nicholas, no? Kay when you are going to buy shares, by bundle ang pagpalit. So, by bundle ang pagpalit. So, bundle of per 100, per 1,000, or per 10,000. So, yun. So, inana ang pagkuhan. It's by bundle ang pagpalit sa shares. Dili ka kapalit og isa lang ka buok, dili pwede. It's by bundle ang pagpalit sa shares. Say, worth 10,000 na shares, worth 20,000 na shares. Pila na ka bundle, at least. Basta, pinakagamay na bundle na imong mapalit is by hundreds. No, by hundreds. Pero kung dili pa kaya og dili pa kaya mo invest og stockholders, kaning stocks. Pwede man ka mo start diri sa cooperative, no? Pwede mo ka start sa cooperative. May cooperative kay kaning gamay ra initial investment, basta kay you have to promise nga mo ka mo say tawagan na mo avail ka sa mga services, no? Products and services sa cooperative. Dili pa nimo kaya mag stocks, kung di pa nimo kaya mag-invest in stock diya sa stock market, why not start na lang ka muna sa cooperative? And same ra magyapon ang function sa no? Ang naagyapon kay madawatan nga dividend. Pero ang ownership lang nimo sa ang ownership lang nimo sa co-op is dili nimo mabaligya. That's the lang, the downside of it kung co-op. Dili nimo mabaligya imong shares. Pero pwede nimo mo-withdraw kung gusto mo ka mo-withdraw. No? Pwede nimo mo-withdraw, pero dili nimo na basta mag savings, duha man na savings or stocks, no? Duha man na, no? Pa-open account ka sa co-op. Duha man na, savings ka ba or shares? Ang savings pwede nimo makuha time to time. Pwede nimo na siya mo-withdraw. Pwede post savings mo na. Pero kanang shares dili na nimo basta-basta ma-withdraw. Yun. Pero for me, ayaw na lang na i-withdraw. Mas dako ang imong shares. Kung magbahina sa dividend, dako po di mo madawat. So, yun. Anyway, magdagan na kay Kuya diri ka. So, okay, I will just leave this to you. Bond, mutual fund, it's a collection of stocks, bonds, money market instruments, and other assets. Yeah. And okay. So my last activity to you, for the second activity for this lesson, I will just leave. I'll try to post this one in our G class.